Welcome to Riptide 2023, an in-person tournament about to start its winners finals, with FTWin possibly the most well-known team in the Splatoon scene, with a total of 7 NA championships under their belt going against Moonlight, a brand new team who had just barely formed at their first in-person event. And this is how that set went.
Chipping 64 off of the clock is a very good start for Last Light. And we see now FTWin trying to hold on to the zone, but Nolan is going to be rushing in with the Kraken, able to get one jump. Last Light, they are done with their penalty points, trying to push forward once again. 2 more players down, and still just a lot of pain and pressure. FTWin can't seem to find an opportunity to push forward, and it's just going to be Kyo. But game 1 is going to be going to Last Light.
Basil not quite finding the same reciprocation from their teammates as well, but with the marker hit, they were still able to get 1 splat down. FTWin in a 3-down situation, now in a soft white. Last Light is looking to gain some points here, and the path is painted, Falco.
So FTWin dropping down to try and splat, and it looks like Nolan's doing a really good job just kind of being a distraction on the side. So that is finally going to be a wipeout against Last Light, and FTWin is going to have a chance to respond.
Feeling a little hesitant to push forward right now. Definitely finding Shadowin getting bombed out, and Arashi holding the Trizuka, still finding 1 splat, looking for the second. Biscuit unable to back up in time. Last Light is here to stay right now, Falco. They do not want to lose their position here. Falco, they really got to start pushing forward and be careful where they want to take the fights.
Yeah, they are trying to get this push going 3-on-3. We see the back come out and the ball point to try and counter it too, but the Kraken's going to be coming out as well. 2 are going to go down on the side of FTWin, and Biscuit is also going to go down.
We're looking over on that top right. You don't want somebody to jump on top of you. The back is going to come out, but Basil is going to counter with the back of their own. Nolan coming in with the Kraken, finding them down in the corner. And there they go. They push them off the plat. Last Light taking us to a game 3. And FTWin is doing just that. We have the cooler set up on the tower, which is an ideal position that you wanted to be on the second checkpoint. We do have more points being taken by FTWin. We're down to the 27 mark, but there's still plenty of time left in the game, Falco. I mean, we have almost 3 minutes here.
We do, and this is, this is the best push that we've seen from FTWin so far, from using some of these specials, also pushing forward, and that bubble is going to help save, and a wonderful snipe there by Basil as 2 members of FTWin go down.
As a no-scope, Falco, I mean, that was like almost textbook Splatoon no-scope in my opinion. They didn't even see, but there we go. Last Light is going to flip that lead for themselves. Only a few more points left to go. This is it for them, Falco. Last Light is going to take the win over FTWin. I mean, what do you say to that? Like, go from being undefeated to a 3-0 sweep?
And the change of emotions from winning a winners semi 3-2 to then winning winners finals 3-0 it's got to touch every part of your brain for how you're feeling.
But FTWin had plenty of experience and dealt with a lot of challengers. Coming into grand finals, they would be ready.
You can hear the crowd yelling, Last Light, over and over here. They managed to fight their way out, stabilize a hefty penalty that FTWin is going to have to get through. The soda comes out here on the side, but look at this. Now you see that Last Light is starting to figure out that the attack is coming from this side. Great trip sites to try to work Bursty in, but look at this. They've actually sniped out where Bursty is right now. 1 or 2 more shots could close this out. They're going to fire this at the zone. We'll certainly take it here, but they need to find stability, Austie. Right now, FTWin hasn't found their footing in the last few bits of gameplay.
They certainly haven't. They were just trying to get that penalty points away from them. You put a soda right there on the base.
Look at them go. Kyo senses that this is the moment. Tries to fight, would love to get Shadow. Gets out there. Quick super jump. We are going to exchange the lead right there. The crowd literally screaming. Arashi goes down as well. Shadow is going to have to try to paint it, but you aren't going to be able to paint around that exact, but you do if you take it out with a suction bomb. A few more seconds. Fighting through. Painting. Tap shouting. Everybody screaming. Nolan trying to fight people. Arashi is back. They're going to paint more. Another one goes down. Shadow is back. Another one goes back. They're painting further and further. Soda out. I don't have any breath to see. Soda. 2, 1.
And really rounding people into certain corners of the map, and that might be part of their game plan here, as this Rainmaker path does tend to funnel quite often, and they are really running in just moments into this game.
Already 2 down from both sides, and hold on, the checkpoint's not going to fall in 30 seconds. Are you serious? Gamer blazing a path right forward here. They're going to run it. It won't fall quite there. Some nice fall-off shots there from Nolan sitting behind it, but it's only a moment's reprieve here. A checkpoint fallen already completely changes the dynamic of this map.
Behind there until until they got stopped by that splat bomb. But it's just going to be trades all up and down on this left side here. What is going on? Biscuit is going absolutely crazy, getting these picks one by one, just taking out Last Light single-handedly on the right.
Gamer could probably just kind of hide with it, but not going to be able to hide from that Trizuka. This could be huge now.
Yep, one final opportunity as 3 already go down. That opportunity's gone.
No.
That opportunity's gone. This game is gone, and now Shadow desperately needs to get away. Now opts to maybe fight it out here. You can't run away forever. Ran away just a little bit too far with missiles. They're going to have to give up so much space. They're going to have to give up the lead, and if they're not careful, Siren, they're going to give up a whole lot more.
Yeah, a lot of clams on the side of FT1. You just see them go up as they go down on that number counter there. They're down to 45. That's Inkjet's going to come out. Not quite take out Shadow win within that first shot. Getting Basil as well. Gamer has been absolutely pulling weight for the side of FT1.
Now to the last minute of the game, they're once again getting set up on this left side. That could be good. That got 2. That got 2. They're going to move forward here. I don't even think they needed to do this. Nolan is stuck with a Kraken that is absolutely no value here, so he's going to move up and try to get up here with Shadow. Points flying up the board. They've taken the lead with just 40 seconds left. They might be able to win it right off of this.
Right off of the 7 points remaining. They just need 2 more claims to get back in there. They can't find their way. They're going to get called out here now by FT1.
Joe very close to building a second power claim as well. 2 people fighting Shadow on the other side who jumps out, but Nolan goes down in the scuffle. Basil goes down. What an incredible inkjet shot. They have more than enough claims to score here. Just 1. They only need 1. Are you serious? Will they be able to do a weird overtime?
They need 1.
One clam. There's one. They can't get it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Here, all these areas are covered. They know where every single member of FT1 is funneling in from. Can they hold on much longer, 9?
It doesn't appear so. They're going to fight their way through here in an admirable hold there. Down to 21 is A-okay.
Yeah, they just don't want to go in just yet. But that whole situation was only possible because no one was able to survive. But get caught by another bomb. FT1 coming back in, getting splat after splat after splat. And that is a wipeout coming out. And they managed to turn it back on them. And they're going to get those penalty points back on the board.
They're going to try to find the members of FT1 as they dive down and did just that. Will trade with the missiles here. But look at this. Bursty runs right over the middle and dives back down here. It's just going to be Shadow fighting on this side. And just as quickly as they took the zone, they'll give it right back. At this point, it's desperation. They're probably going to have to try to make a dive at this point. And Shadow and Basil dropped right down. I think FT1 knew that was coming there. They have the specials and the players to really punish them there. It's just Arashi left. Unless he can make a miracle, it's looking like a repeat of last set. There will be no miracles to be had today. Bursty's going to open the basket, and with 2 already down and maybe more to follow, this is going to look bad. The one saving grace here for Last Light potentially could be where the clam spawns come in, but if they keep going down, it doesn't matter how far they are. Nolan desperately needs to find one of these players. Will get Biscuit, but that's tacticalered up, so it's going to be a wash, a wipeout. Finally, that's one way to mitigate an attack. There it is again, Last Light in a horrid position.
Starting fresh on Museum is so unforgiving, just like those 2 sloshes from Biscuit getting the double on Arashi. They're going to be coming into this and they're not even ready for it. Biscuit's playing faster than everyone else.
Still chanting, they're still scoring here. Gamer goes ahead and gets more. They were tacticalered up again somehow. They've still cycled it, despite what the new patches would tell you. There's still more claims to be had here. The specials are trying to work. Basil desperately trying to build it up. But first things first, you've got to get it in, and with no Kraken here, that's any cheese off the table right now. The 2 shooters left on the map are going to fight, and they would have to fight through about 10 members of FT1, it feels like, if they wanted to go through. Overtime still working. They have a pity claim to work with, but they have a long way that they're going to have to go. A couple down there, but a couple down on their side too. Gamer already dancing. When is Kyo going to stand up? There he goes, and there the game goes. Oh, he's done. He's got nothing more to say.
What else is there to say, 9?
Oh. FT1 had regrouped and figured out exactly what they needed to do to deal with our team. And Moonlight was not ready for this. Again, this was their first ever real run. And that lack of experience hurts you not just in the games themselves, but also mentally. The whiplash of going from 3-0 to 0-5 in what feels like an instant is very difficult to recover from. Even more so in an in-person scenario like this with all the pressure and your opponent's 2 feet away from you. But in this moment, none of that mattered anymore. They had 1 game left. It was zones. We could go back to leader, which had worked out for us before, and they were gonna have to give it their all on this one last chance to turn things around.
Went on here again.
Can we do this all together, just in case?
Yes, let's do it. Ready?
Go! Sorry to your ears at home. We are seeing these tried and true comps. Basil taking the advice of Kyo-chan and going back to E-leader here. Will it matter in the last game, potentially? Potentially.
And surely at this point, with Nolan making a mess with the Kraken, there should be an opportunity. Yeah, Kyo gonna wait that long. Oh my goodness. Still fighting the 3 people firing. Kyo, you can't be getting away from this. Unbelievable. If Kyo gets one, this drift's gonna go wild. He's away. He's covered. It was all a bait.
How did he escape from that? There were 3 people on him.
Actually almost took Gamer out here. Right now, Nolan's able to find these 2 players right in front of him. There's a real opportunity. Another one goes down and one's stuck in an inkjet.
Nolan literally went into the pathway where he was going to go to catch him off guard. That's going to be a wipeout almost.
Basil saying, hey, I could move out of the difficult situation too and get the pick on Bursty to boot.
They're going to dive in to try to close it out. They've made some space now, but Nolan isn't going to find anyone and will instead be stuck in an awkward spot. Now he's going to prove that he can survive. Fight through it. Get one more, but he's not going to be able to.
No, this is make it or break it for last light. Are they going to be able to cap the zone? That's going to be their junior down. That's their number 1 painter. 2, 1, it's just the leader and the shot. What are they going to do?
They fight and they hold. Unbelievable. Basil's tap shot's able to do it. You haven't sit down for like 5 whole minutes IRL. What a game this is.
How can you? How can you when you see this happening? Look at this. They take the zone back from them, adding on penalty points. And now Basil looking for it. They paint the zone and they have complete control right now.
They have no penalty though. 10 seconds left. They need this overtime. 30 seconds to go on the clock. Basil's backing up. They're getting ready for the wrath of FT Win. Paint over these strikes. Cover that zone. Who's going to be able to hold it? And it's neutral here. Back into the hands of Last Light. It's just going to be Basil. What does it matter here?
Basil.
Breaker on the zone.
Lets him jump all back in, but they can't hold on to it. FT Win is your Riptide 2023 Splatoon 3 champions.
2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, it doesn't matter. The name that is towered above all else in North American Splatoon, the wrath of FT Win, as you called it, has come down with authority. We lose winners finals and we win 6 games in a row.
Losing 0-6 in Grands was the worst way to go out of that event. But Moonlight came out of this with concrete proof that they could beat even the best teams. I mean, the gap to be able to take a set off of 1 versus winning a major tournament against multiple can't be that large, right? When talking about improving, it's very often described as a competitive ladder, where you climb the rungs to reach the top at higher ranks or skill levels. But what isn't talked about is that this picture that so many people have in their heads is very, very misleading. It's more accurate to think of the ladder as looking like this. A ladder where for each rung you climb, the gap between you and the next one steadily increases. The higher you go, the more effort it takes to get to the next level, the less people and resources you have around you. For most players, it's something you won't notice too much. Even the top rank of the game is usually only the best 1% of players. But for competitors who truly want to push themselves, they strive past the in-game ranks, joining the competitive scene and grinding out tournaments to rise even higher. At a certain point, players get to the fabled top level. Generally, this is when you're considered good enough to be able to win major tournaments. And it's here where the climb becomes truly overwhelming. When the group of people at your level becomes so small, you basically know everyone in it. There have been so many promising top players and teams over the years, but most of them end up failing right here, on this giant rung. The difference between almost winning and actually winning a big event. And you wouldn't know it from looking at it, but Splatoon is probably one of the hardest shooters to be good in. It's a team-based objective shooter, but what makes it special is how fast it is. Matches are 5 minutes. Every player, regardless of weapon, has insane movement capabilities, parrying, and the ability to jump to each other at all times. Most kill times, even in a 1v1 setting, are lightning fast or one-shots, with very few ways to deal with it. Specials are explosive, and stages are thin and crowded with action. This era of Splatoon 3 is known for being possibly the hardest one to improve in. The metagame is centered around a fast-paced special that buffs mobility with a near-instant respawn. This pushes the mechanical abilities of every single player, demanding high investment from its player base. Yes, a lot of options were good, but they all required an insane level of commitment for consistency. The teams that were winning all the big events weren't new names. They were people who had been at the top for years. Having already climbed that ladder, they made sure that the only people who could reach the top were those capable of beating them. With a lack of new good teams able to win, it put all of the viewers' pressure and all their expectations on any that managed to turn up. Whether they wanted it or not, Moonlight was going to be that team. And this is the beginning of their story to win a major. While Moonlight had some notable events after this, their real chance at redemption was to show up to the next LAN with their full lineup and get redemption. And that chance would arrive with Low Tide City 2024. This time, guarding first place would be Starburst, a team of players that had been dominating since late game S2, responsible for ending FT Win's era. And Moonlight was ready to take them on. But before they did, they would have to go up against
Flexman,
a pickup of other top-level players. And despite some close games,
what a jump by half, but not for long, as Nolan's gonna follow up and make it 2, looking for 3! Let's go!
Moonlight ended up losing here 2-3, now nearing where FT Win was in the previous event. And like that team, they adapted much stronger in the losers bracket.
Major flanking distraction. You know, it's going to be working for Moonlight because it has pretty much this entire game. But now Omega's really trying to get some of these jumps, able to take down one pin, they take down two, they take down half and Zenith.
Taking that set and setting themselves up for a grand finals match against Starburst. But this time, they would need to beat them twice.
Moonlight versus Starburst, game 1, Splat Zones at Hagglefish Market.
Moonlight is using NZAP, 96 Stamper, and Rapid Blaster Pro, a comp with a lot more mid-range damage combos and ability to run forward, but without a whole lot of range pressure, while Starburst sticks with Triple Shooter, a comp that's built around a lot more mobility, with both teams trying to control the state of the game towards their playstyle. Zipcaster is very important for this stage in particular, as the lack of attack angles forces a lot of dependence on getting good value out of it.
Seeing one more player as well, Serene going to go down. Is this going to be a wipe here? But no, it looks like Bagel's trying to stay alive, and Bagel does take down the stamping up in a 3v3 situation. Omega is going to be using that Zipcaster to try and push forward. Can they take down Zero? No, they can't.
Kraken, on the other hand, is getting some big value at this point, and results in the first time Bagel is forced to jump out of the fight, giving full control back to Moonlight.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to make them suffer just a little bit, but 2 players are now down on Starburst. Moonlight has quite a bit of penalty points to try and get rid of, and I mean, they do have a pretty nice lead right now, but it looks like they're a little bit more scattered as Omega trying to go up with that Zipcaster, going to be taken down.
The rarely seen splatter color screen can be a big impact on this map.
And look, it literally covers the entire, you have no choice but to either take damage or just back up from that,
allowing the more mobile comp of Starburst to take control. Moonlight's retakes can really run into some problems if they're not able to get the sides of the map, and it's really easy to see how Starburst can simply retake control and burn all of the other team's resources. With the previous stagger, this defense is going to be their last shot at getting back in.
2 players are down now on Starburst as Moonlight is trying to push forward. It is just going to be Bagel here, but Brand still on the side. Brand is still trying to push in from a flank, but look at that, Moonlight is able to cap the zone.
With Moonlight winning this team fight, it all comes down to this hole.
You've used a lot of resources to get control of the zone. Now you don't really have anything to hold on to it.
No.
Unless you're just different like Nolan.
No, but 2 players are still down on Starburst, so there's going to be an opportunity for Moonlight to be 2 players down on Starburst. They're getting rid of their penalty points. We will be going to overtime here, and let's see if Moonlight can hold on to this. 1 player's going to be down. The Zuka's going to be coming out. No, the Zuka's going to be the one painting the zone. Starburst is going to be coming back and winning game 1 here.
Moonlight counterpicks to Clam Blitz Umami. Starburst drops the pen for Rapid here, as its faster mobility can help a lot when scoring clams for larger pushes. Moonlight, on the other hand, went here because they want to go back to their tent comp, with the double wall allowing them to slow the other team down.
Now using it on Clam Blitz this time so that Bagel is enforced on Pencil Jail.
Yeah, we're going to see 2 players down now on Starburst, so Moonlight's going to be taking the quick player advantage too, and I didn't know if Karen was going to go down as well, but no, they are going to survive too.
Due to how much time it takes to gather clams and the large size of the map, it's very hard to mount pushes, especially when any lost team fight can make you drop them, but Moonlight didn't waste any time.
Are coming out. 2 are going to go down on Starburst. Omega coming out with the crab, trying to locate Jared, who's point censored, and able to take them down. 3 players down now on Starburst. Moonlight's got to capitalize on this.
The downside to this is you don't get many points here, and you get reset back to neutral. But Moonlight got another wipeout with the Zuka collateral.
Okay, here we go.
Once again, rushing the push for minimal reward.
Already back into the action to get in control of mid. 2 more players going down. 2 power crams ready to go, and here comes the Kraken on top of it, coming back here trying to get the splat, so forcing them away for the zone. Not going to get the click. Zero.
With yet another individual pop-off, Moonlight finds another opportunity to extend
Here's
their
going to be the
lead.
score. Here's going to be the follow-up, and this is going to be a solid lead for Moonlight that they have been looking for this entire set.
Extended. The defense is going to have to be critical here because Starburst is loaded for bear. 2 power clams have some change. They do lose Bran on the side. Shadow going to be dropping down here in a 1v1 with Bagel. Nolan gets eliminated, and now it's just the pencil left to defend things. That is a wipeout. Oh no! Here it goes with Starburst, and they just need a few more clams to get the lead. They got the Mercy jumping into Jared, who's just wide open. There's the lead for Starburst. Zero's the last player left alive. Oh, I don't know if you want to get wiped out if you were Starburst right there, though. Oh, Moonlight is going to be running towards the enemy basket.
So just 2 power clams that Moonlight is going to need to take the lead. They do have their Mercy clam ready. They are holding it in possession. No second power clam at the ready, but no one's going to get it. They now have 2 power clams at the ready. They got to find a way to push forward. No one's going to have the Kraken. It's going to get rid of, and now they go down to the bomb before it's going to be too late. Can Basil get it in time? Basil is able to score 1 more power clam. Can Basil get it in? Yes! Moonlight wins game 2, the first win against Starburst. Oh my goodness.
That's the reaction when Starburst loses 1 game, and that's what it takes to beat him in 1 game. Is there any way Moonlight can pull that off 5 more times over the course of the next 7 games or so? I have no idea, but it literally looked like they sold their soul just to win 1 singular game against a god.
Going into Game 3, Starburst counterpicks to Tower Control Inkblot, and this time we get a Rapid Ditto, you know, because it's Tower Control and all that. Right away, the first fight can highlight some differences in playstyles, with Starburst being more defensive while Moonlight just goes in, trying to control the fight pacing on the enemy side of the map. With trades on all sides, Moonlight ends up taking the advantage by forcing the tower on the other side of the map. Because of this, Shadow pulls the attention away from the respawns and towards Starburst's side of the map, allowing them to get the fight win and secure the first checkpoint. But this aggressive play ends up getting them wiped by another Zuka triple, setting up Starburst for the
Brain
push.
trying to find Nolan here on the side, over here on the right stack, trying to take them out. But meanwhile, the tower is still being heavily contested for Moonlight as we see some of the players be jumping into, over to the tree. 2 players are going to go down. 1v1 or 3v3 now for both of these teams. But yes, Starburst able to take back the lead, but not by very much.
They're not really going to be in a position to get moving right here. What the heck was that?
I think
Throwing
a
a bomb at
on the wall.
Yeah. Classic bomb at the wall. That wall has been saving Nolan a little bit earlier, that time backfiring on one of their teammates.
After a scrappy fight, Moonlight manages to find a huge string of kills thanks to a flank from Nolan.
This is 100% the lead switch. That's going to be the wipeout as well. Let's see how far Moonlight can push this into the last minute as they approach the second checkpoint. Zero's going to be breaking down. We see Jared over there by the tree. Jared's going to be going down. Omega trying to push up with the crab. Nolan is watching from the side too. 2 players still down on the side of Starburst. Moonlight is still pushing, and that's going to be the wipeout.
For Starburst, Bagel is going to have to survive onto the tower, dodging the Kraken, throwing down the Sutter to try to get things alive, but it's going to come down to this last player on the tower, and it seems to be Nolan, a 1v1, but stolen away by Zero. It is just a bar fight broken out of the tower. Zero's not going to survive it much longer. Jared's forced to jump on top of it. The thing is, the tower's going to have to be stalled out of the second checkpoint for a little bit while Jared trying to keep players away as the man advantage falls in Starburst's favor. 2v1. How did you take the tower? Oh no! Moonlight wins again!
Starburst counterpicks to Crab Leg Rainmaker, which is basically going to force both teams back onto their pencil compositions. But Moonlight's more than happy with this, as the 10 Umbrella Shield is one of the best ways to push across the grates.
But yeah, this is just like a good pencil versus pencil match. Unfortunate for the audience, but that is what we got going on here. But yeah, there's the 10.
Yeah, we're not going to see the screen come out on the side of Starburst. Two are going to go down on Moonlight, 3 are going to go down. It's going to be Basil, but Basil is going to be taking down a Zero. So Starburst able to pick up the Rainmaker here. Basil's going to be the one carrying it. Basil did not jump out. They got splatted there at the end. But it looks like Starburst did get the checkpoint, and it looks like there's no sign of stopping them quite yet. Omega's going to be trying to do so, but they are still alive. This is really early on in the game.
Yeah, Moonlight got punched in the face pretty hard, and they might be taking a few more punches right now because Zero, what the heck was that all about? Zero just got behind both of them and destroyed 2 squids, and now is going to be taking aim at that pencil. And somehow the last player left alive is able to take care of the Rainmaker and save Moonlight staying in this game. what a heck of a play by Zero.
Yeah, that was a really good play. We can see them struggling against Nolan. No one able to take them down. No one's going to try to avoid the Zuka from Jared, and it looks like they do and take them down. 3 are going to be down on Starburst right now. And again, the Rainmaker has not moved. Finally, Moonlight picking it up, waiting for that player advantage. That's going to be another player that's going to go down on the side of Starburst. So this is going to be Moonlight's first opportunity. Shadow the first one to this right checkpoint to help guide the way.
It's, again, Moonlight's just thrilled to be in this situation. They should be using a little bit more, but now they're going to take a stab at that checkpoint. Did they clear it? Yes, and they got the tent ready to go to lay down the shield. It's just Bran and Bagel. They're going to huddle behind it. Lead goes into Moonlight's favor as they get a little bit further past the break. Credit to you. You called out that exact play, and they get the 28 remaining.
Omega's going to be bringing out the grab, trying to identify where Bagel is as well. One member going to be going down on Starburst. And, I mean, Starburst is doing a good job just holding onto it. Bagel wisely retreating a little bit, just protecting themselves, but no, caught from behind Omega, able to take them down here. So Starburst not really capitalizing on that push as much as they hope, but Moonlight still has the lead.
Zero has just been making play after play on the great area right there, ultimately gets eliminated. Moonlight, the last time we saw them play on the Rainmaker, overplayed their hand when they had a huge lead. That didn't work against Flex Cement. It sure as heck's not going to work against Starburst right here. So you got to be thinking maybe they're trying to be a little bit more passive to make up for that.
Yeah, I think that might be what their approach is right now. Starburst is trying to find where they want to push, but no, it's going to be Moonlight who's going to be the team who's in control. 2 players down. Basil has a clear path right now, but waiting for Bran. Look at Bran hiding there. Can Bran stay alive? They're just going to pass Bran, but no, they're going to go down. Moonlight just doing such a good job spreading out. They're going to be going down as well. Cool's going to be out from Bagel. And can the Kraken take it out, or is Bagel just going to survive? No, okay, now finally they're down. No one gets them, but are going to go down, so we're going to have that trade.
Keep in mind, Starburst doesn't have to go through the checkpoint last time, but this is what we saw Omega doing before. Starting to get a little bit comfortable and still losing the fights to Bagel. Bagel can't die, and that is a huge splat, by the way, unless it's not, because there's a Zuka out of nowhere. Moonlight's just going crazy right now, all over the place, and Starburst can't keep up with them.
No, they have 2 players down, 10 seconds left. Starburst is going to have to pick up this Rainmaker, but Moonlight's doing such a good job protecting it. One player's going to go down, 3v3. You hear the crowd counting down. Are they going to get there in time? No, they're not. Moonlight is going to win the set and force the bracket reset against Starburst.
Oh my.
Well deserved.
Oh my goodness.
Well deserved for Moonlight.
Regardless what happens in this bracket reset, Moonlight can just say they've officially beaten a god team.
Yes.
They just beat them in a best-of-5 set, straight up. The words we didn't think we'd be uttering, bracket reset, game 1, store tied at 0-0, Splatoon's Ramen.
Take down, take on one of the players too, and this is looking pretty good for them for an early cap, but 3 of them are now going to be going down with the support of that killer win. Yeah, and again, we just see this kind of heavy stalemate here. Starburst is now going to be taking the zone once again, 3v3. Kraken's going to be coming out, 2 players down on Moonlight, so Starburst is looking much more confident this time around. Again, it's about controlling where the Kraken is on the side of Moonlight, taking them down. Bran going to get a nice double there, and again, they just have a lot of map control at their disposal as we get down to 30. This is the most comfortable Starburst has been looking all throughout the duration of these games.
The Hornets are buzzing, and they are stinging, and we might not be staying in this game much longer. They even got the sprinkler on top of the ramen bowl up top right there as Bagel is just kind of chilling in the zone. One more opportunity for Moonlight to do something, and even though the Zukas and everything is thrown into the zone, it's not enough. Starburst puts their foot down.
It's been a minute since we have seen that as well. 1 player going to go down on Starburst already. We're going to have a 3v3 situation here. 2 are going to go down on the side of Moonlight. Moonlight, they did have a good, solid hold of mid, but no, not going to be the case now. Shadow's the only one alive. Can they at least get a pick out of it? No, they're going to get a trade. That's going to benefit Starburst as they're going to walk into the first checkpoint.
They're going to clear it in the first 30 seconds right there. Starburst not having the greatest of openings, but they're responding to it. There goes Zero, by the way. Just diving on, taking a play out of Omega's playbook.
Shadow's going to be picking it up. This could be the first point on the side of Moonlight if they don't go down. There's a 1-player advantage too, and there's a few points there. 3v3 right now.
It's Zero again.
Zero's the one, you're right, Zero is the one making these really gutsy plays and is doing such a good job at it.
There's no plan of attack right here for Moonlight, and instead it's just kind of waiting for something to open up, and the longer you wait, the more special build-up you have from the side of the defending team. There's a little bit of indecision right there, but again, Moonlight had to use a lot of specials just to even get to this point, and Starburst has been built up on the defensive side of things. You are looking at a 2-0 Starburst flexing in back-to-back.
They really needed a deserve. So it was a solid play, not as dominant as the first play that they had the first game, but this was still a win for Starburst.
On Moonlight's counter pick.
Yes.
Mind you. Potential tournament point here in Starburst's favor. Game 3 of the bracket resets. We're going back to Clan Blitz Umami.
Again, we're just going to kind of see that skirmish happen in mid, get a steal, and it's going to be Moonlight who's going to be the one benefiting from that, getting too early. Again, not really focusing on the claims, but yeah, the Bagel here getting some key picks as 2 players are going to go down on the side of Moonlight too. So, there's going to be a trade as well. You have the map economy, but you don't have the clan economy in that position. And you know, that could have been a moment where they just scored maybe one power claim, just get the momentum going, but this is a team that they don't need the momentum in this game, especially when you have a player like Jared. It'd be amazing if they're still really not gathering clams. They're just pushing up. They're just playing Splatfest at this point.
And that's Jared not on the squeezer anymore. That's Jared on the splash. That was Brand that was on the splash earlier, but now Brand is using the blaster. So now we got a different weapon coming out from Jared, and that allows him to be a little bit more by either team. It's the crowd. Is it any wonder who the crowd's rooting for?
Yeah, and I mean, at this point too, you have 2 minutes in, a no score. It's really anybody's game, and this is giving all the confidence to Moonlight for the crowd, and maybe to Moonlight themselves as well. Brand is going to be staying alive, trying to push up, and that's going to give more map control for the side of Starburst, as Basil's going to go down as well. That's going to be 3 down. That's going to be a delayed wipe for Starburst, and this is really where they're going to turn up the heat for the power claim. This is going to be the first score of the game, Popka.
This could be the tournament ending score. I don't think they'll get the KO, but they might get a huge enough lead to where they can bleed things out. Moonlight is really struggling with getting control of mid. It all comes down to how Starburst ends this one. They got wiped the last time they scored on Moonlight, and they basically just gave the game away at that point. This time they need to end this push with their players still alive, and it seems like they're trying to do the exact opposite of that. Instead, the ends out from Bagel being still alive and safe. Haven't seen really any effective Krakens being used so far in this game, though.
Yeah, we really haven't, or a lot of coordinated specials on the side of Moonlight, but this could be the first opportunity. 1 player advantage, 1 power cannon trying to push forward. We see the Kraken come out as well. The Cooler is going to be out as well. So it looks like Moonlight will have an opportunity to score here, and it looks like they do. Will be enough for them to take the lead. It's just going to be 1 player alive. It's just going to be Omega who has claims. They're going to be going down, getting to 74. That was a moment where Moonlight...
This could be game.
It could be game. It could be game, especially 2 power claims on the side of Starburst, and they have a lot more map control. I think it's going to be a pretty stally minute and 20 seconds here.
Yeah, Moonlight tried to sell everything to get lead right there, and it didn't even come close to it. And now Starburst has, look at all of this nonsense Starburst has. This could be the tournament ending right here. Shadow being the last player left alive. That is a delayed wipe.
That's game.
And that could be your tournament as the deadly power clam jumps on in. Starburst, it wasn't easy, but when they start doing the push-ups, they can flex their muscles. They win Low Tide City again.
So what just happened? How did Moonlight go from a set where they were winning to an 0-3 where they were largely non-competitive? Well, for this event, I think it came down to 3 factors. The most important one was weapon compositions. Outside of Nolan, everyone else on Moonlight was swapping between 2 very different weapons to play 2 very different comps that have totally different ideas for what they want out of the game. That's naturally going to lead to a lot of individual inconsistency and having to swap between multiple different game plans. Starburst, on the other hand, largely had 1 comp that they would make minor tweaks to, allowing much better adaptions in the middle of the tournament while reducing a lot more of that inconsistency. This is just a game where swapping to completely different comp strategies isn't that worth it over being more consistent at individually very difficult weapons that are required to win at this level of play. The second factor is experience. Starburst has been around for a long time. Like F2N and Riptide, they are used to dealing with a lot of challengers and adapting in the middle of the set. One of their most famous tournament wins is coming back from being 0-3 against FT-Win, taking 4 games in a row. That's a situation much more daunting than this one. This was the same factor that worked against Moonlight at Riptide. They just simply don't have experience being in the advantageous position and dealing with the better team adapting to them because they're all newer. Finally, was the nature of the bracket reset. This gave Starburst a lot of time to adapt and figure out what changes they need to do, from the smaller stuff like Jared switching to Splash to allowing Zero to be more of the main playmaker. These small adaptations were enough to get them early momentum and steamroll the rest of the set, but I think it's lessons that Moonlight can learn.
But again, we can't talk about LTC 2024 without that bracket reset and how strong Moonlight played throughout this entire tournament.
They did a fantastic job.
And even despite that loss, Moonlight did better against stronger opponents than last year, which is a big improvement for them. And well, for Moonlight's story, this is just the beginning. We'll have to see what happens next. Thanks for watching.